So when I first introduced brag tags to the school, I wanted to make sure that everyone got the same information. So I always use Google Slides to make sure that I don't get off track or whatever. So I used a Google slide to present the information to the students when I first designed the brag tag program. And I see every student every week. So as they came to the library with their homeroom, they would see this Google slideshow, and I would tell them, get over here, maybe this will work better from this side. These are the brag tags, and this is what we're going to do. This is how you can earn a brag tag. First of all, you read a number of books in this series, and I made a notation to see the brag tag challenge sheet for the requirements, and I'll show you an example of that. Each child in the class received a brag tag challenge sheet, and that's their little record keeping of their progress. Number 2, the books must be on the child's AR or Lexile level, whichever measurement the reading teacher is using. That's where I let them know they have to be this level. Also, they have to be read this year. They can't go back to first grade and say, but I read Dr. Seuss books in first grade. This is this school year. We're looking at this school year. So have to be read this year, have to be on their AR or Lexile level, because we know this is best practice for growing a reader. Next thing they have to do is have a little bit of proof that they did read those books and do well on the quiz. So they take the accelerated reader quiz. We have accelerated reader in our school, and the students are used to using it. So once they're finished, they take the AR quiz. And we don't include books in the brag tag challenge that do not have an AR quiz. So they all have them, and they know how to find those. And the most important thing is, once they've taken an AR quiz, they must make an 80%, 90%, or 100 on each of the quizzes that will count toward that brag tag. I just remind them all the time, we don't brag about mediocre and poor grades. These are brag tags. We brag about 80s, 90s, and 100s. Those are accomplishments. We learn from our mistakes, but we don't brag about them. So also, to complete the challenge, every series has a required number of books. Some of our bigger chapter books, they might have to only read 2 or 3. Some of our tiny picture books, they may have to read 10 in the series, but they have to read the required amount and pass the tests on all of them. So these are my things that are set in stone. We're not going to waver from these, and this is applicable to every student using the brag tag program. This is one of the brag tag challenge sheets. This is for their record keeping. I wish I could give them all one printed in color, because the brag tag artwork is beautiful, but they get the black and white, and they've seen the color, and they can go back and look at this Google slideshow on their Google Classroom. But they get this as a record keeping sheet, and this at a glance lets them see some of the series that we have for grades 1 through 3, and also how many books are required for that particular brag tag. So I let my little ones color in a block for each book they've read and made the required grade on the accelerated reader quiz. And this lets them see their progress, and they truly just see it building. And by the time they get to the end, they can't wait to get up here. Look, I've read 5 Babysitter Club, or hey, I've read 10 Katie Woo, and I get my brag tag. At which point my clerk or I verify this on the Accelerated Reader website, and then we give them their brag tag and initial that grid. And then that's their brag tag for that series. They can't go back and read 10 more Katie Woo, they must move on to something different. And that's a little encouragement to get out of your little comfort zone. We know you had great success here, but let's see what else you can do. So I love these sheets, and they keep them right in their reading folders, and they have them with them when they come up to get a brag tag. Now, also included on this Google slideshow, I have, for each of the brag tags on their challenge sheet, I made a slide. And on the slide, you can see the cover of the book, but this is also an interactive book cover that contains a book trailer. So if they're not familiar with Black Lagoon, they can open this up in Google Classroom, click on the movie trailer. This one's 41 seconds. I don't think any of them are even a minute long. Who wouldn't want to read a Black Lagoon book? So they love these. And then there's the reminder over here that they'll need to read 5 of those. 5, that's nothing, I can do that tomorrow, you know. And so that encourages them. And this is just a little way for them to go back on their own time in their classrooms whenever they have a minute and try to decide which series they're going to go to next, because they love to have their next series picked out and the next one. And as I've mentioned before, it's been such a growing program. I started out with about 30 series. Now we have over 60 brag tags available, growing daily. And we also have posters in the library with all of the brag tags available. And we made copies of the posters in half sheets, and those are also in their library folders. So they can see all of the ones that we have available all the time. And they'll take those and even just use tally marks next to the required number to see their progress. So just want to keep them reading and growing and wanting more.